Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game Time YouTube channel. My name is Joe, and I am your host. Got K-State football dialed up for you today, and we're talking. Let's start out with the loss to Iowa State this week. All right, bad loss, 42-35, at home in the snow, and clearly defense did not come to play. K-State had the ball longer, like 2 or 3 times longer than Iowa State did. Ran 2 or 3 times more plays than Iowa State did. Outgained Iowa State in yardage, barely, but did so. And still lost the game. A lot of big plays by Iowa State in this game. Really bad loss. If you listen to some of the talking heads online, you kind of feel like maybe some of the guys either just did not come to play. I wouldn't say it was on purpose, but they just weren't ready to play. Could be, have something to do with some of these, transfers going out. A lot of guys entering the transfer portal. We'll talk about that in a second. But, very, very poor performance by the team. And a very bad way to end the season. You just don't like to end the season this way. So K-State ends at 8-4. I would call that a successful season, winning season. Okay, 8 wins is always good. But I think we saw more for this team. I think after winning that Big 12 championship, I felt like this team had a lot more potential than 8 wins. They really did. A lot of close losses. All right. Some of the losses were very, very close. We really could have beaten Missouri. All right. We really could have beaten Texas. Okay. Oklahoma State game was close, although it was not a good game. We were very close there. Okay. So we could have won that game. So, that's the difference between a New Year's Day bowl and, whatever we're going to get, which sounds like we're going to get like the Pop-Tarts bowl or something like that. So, there we go. All right. A lot of transfer portal action for K-State. If you haven't heard, all right, Will Howard, okay, enters the transfer portal. All right. Jake Rubley. All right, backup quarterback, one of our backup quarterbacks also goes into the portal, as well as Adrian Lara, one of the other quarterbacks kind of buried in that depth chart there. He's going in. So clearly quarterback room's clearing out, I think, for Avery Johnson. I think everybody understands that Avery Johnson is the next guy up to be the starting quarterback for K-State. And, they're just going to go and find opportunities elsewhere, which makes sense. Trayshawn Ward is another big name that's transferring. And Will Lee, new defensive back this year, has only been here 1 year. Him and Trayshawn Ward, 1 year in, and they're transferring out. This transfer portal is kind of interesting. Let's talk a little bit about that. There's good and bad here. All right. You want to see players have more opportunities and more control over where they go. Okay, obviously you have control when you initially choose, but once you get locked in, back in the day, you really didn't have control. You were kind of stuck. You couldn't really transfer out without being penalized. Now players kind of have a little bit more control over their destiny. They can move around, right, from year to year and still play and not lose years of eligibility in the process of that. I like it. It's different. I think a lot of people that see this happening, they see it as a negative thing. It's what it is to me, it's aligning the ability of players with, I think, where the rest of the game had already gone, which is really a money-based type of game. Okay, you're talking about conference realignment due to economics, okay, the size of the markets, okay, the size, of the stadiums, all right, things like that. The amount of money that a team can make for a conference is determining, what conferences are going to accept certain teams and what teams, are going to go to certain conferences. So that's the thing. You got, billion-dollar stadiums being built. Okay, you've got all this money being made by apparel. You've got all of these different markets and things like that surrounding these teams, right? And these logos and things like that. Not to mention coaches and assistants and things like that. They have huge salaries. So this is a big business, okay? The players kind of were the only holdout. They were the last holdout on, actually getting a piece of the pie. And, from kind of, I think it's that transition from the game being kind of played purely for the love of the game, and it's transitioning into the game being played for money. Okay, and kind of on a professional level in college. And I think that's the transition that people don't want to see. That's what kind of made college sports in some ways better than the professionals. Okay, because when you become a professional, that's your job. You're making a check to do it. You're supposed to do it. You're getting paid to do it. These college sports, before, all they got were scholarships, you could kind of feel like, hey, that's my team. And there, the rivalries are there. There's more heart in the game. Okay. They're not playing for money, but now they are. And this movement within this transfer portal, much of that is due to players. Sometimes they just want more playing time for sure. But I think in many cases, that's going to lead to NIL opportunities. And that's what many of these players are seeking when they transfer out. So, transfer portal, good or bad, I think teams are just going to have to get adjusted to how they manage their teams within this new culture of transfer portal. I think that's just how it's going to have to go. So, Will Howard leaving, I have mixed feelings about that. I really like Will Howard as our quarterback. I thought he was a good, very, very good quarterback. I actually, I felt like he had the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in the nation this year, especially after seeing his performance, last year and getting us into that Big 12 championship game and winning that game. You just had to feel like, hey, if he could continue that momentum, he could really be a big name in college football, right? I mean, the way he was throwing the ball around, he really, really had the potential to do that. Some things I think out of his control happened with this team that didn't really allow him to really reach that. But now he's leaving, and I think that's going to be good for him. But we're making this transition to Avery Johnson. Now, I like it. I think that brand-wise, I think it's great. He's a hometown kid. Okay, fans love it. All right, especially the hometown fans. They're going to follow. He's going to have a huge following in the state of Kansas, and now it's appearing, around the nation. Very, very good, for marketing for the team. Okay, not to mention he's an extremely talented guy. All right, I mean he's got all the athletic ability that you could love to see. You would love to see in a quarterback. All right, and he can throw the ball apparently. So, I like him. I like him coming in. My disclaimer on him, all right, is that is he ready? Okay, he's a freshman. I think there's a lot of hype surrounding him. With hype comes pressure. We want him to be able to succeed under this pressure. I think fans need to, on some level, the hype is good. I think the overly high expectations, let's pause on that. Let's give him an opportunity to play. Let's see what we've got. Okay, we see he's got the physical skills. Let's see how his mental makeup works. Okay, can he get in the game? Can he stay calm and operate and put a full game a full season's worth of consistent play in? Can he do that? Let's give him a chance to show us. I think the hype train, what that does, if it's too high, what it does is the fans get a false sense of reality for a player. And, they're expecting perfection. Then when he makes a few mistakes, the hater train comes out and you get all these negative comments about, how he's playing or your desire to see another guy play. Let's not do that. It doesn't make sense. If you're a fan of the team, you want your players to be confident. You don't want to put all of this negative, critical energy out into the world, okay, for them to see, because obviously, all right, this is a social media world, okay? They see everything. Anybody can push their opinion and their comments out to the world, and it's viewed by everyone. So you just have to be careful. It's okay to criticize and say, hey, if he has a bad game, he has a bad game, but let's not overly hate. Let's let him know, hey, we want you to play better. It always has to come in love and positiveness. Let's not, I saw some comments about Will Howard that I didn't like, and I felt like, if you're a true fan of the team, you want your quarterback to be confident. You don't want to, put him down. Okay, not to say that these guys aren't strong enough to fight through that kind of stuff, because they are and they do. But why would you even do that? Why would you even put that out there if you want the team to win? Let's keep it positive. I see big things for Avery Johnson. He's got this bowl game coming up. Quarterback room's cleared out, so he's the guy. Okay, he's the guy. He's going to play. We're going to see what he's got. Okay, there's probably a few other young guys that we haven't got a chance to see on the team. We're going to see what they've got. So it's a really good opportunity, and against a good opponent. I'm hearing NC State. I think they're, maybe top 25 team. Okay, we're probably going to end up playing a top 25 team in this bowl game. So you want to see, decent defense, good defense, see how he can play, see how the coaches, game plan with him. Okay, they've got him for a whole week or two of practice or however long. You're going to be able to, really put an offense in that's gonna accent, and accentuate his skill set. And, we'll see how it goes. But, it's this team kind of, this last game, it really hurt. You really wanted to see it. A lot of these guys would have transferred anyway. I think that's just the nature of the game today. But you really wanted to see a lot of these guys go out on the winning side. And to have a game where it was kind of a collapse, defensively in this particular game, you hate to see that, because you know that they're capable of playing better. You've seen them play better. But in this case, they just didn't. And Iowa State, took advantage of it. Bad conditions, snowy conditions. So the field was probably slippery. It was probably hard to get footing. But hey, I like Coach said in one of the press conferences, both teams had to deal with that. And so, it was really no excuse. And Kstate really they lost this game. It was really hard to see. But I think the future's bright. I'm really excited to see how some of these young guys play in this bowl game. And, to be honest, I'm really excited to see where Will Howard lands. I'll probably, keep up with him and see what team he goes to. He's got a real opportunity to transition to probably a really good team. He probably has opportunity to get some some NIL money going in. So, it could be a win-win situation. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening. That's all I got for today.